coming down in buckets. Hope you're going to hear me talking above the noise of the rain on the roof. And hi everyone. I am going to do an impromptu remarkable creatures. So don't know if you can hear me. I don't know. I just need a message from somebody on chat. I was going to look for... I don't have that many pictures of frogs, Jules. So we're doing remarkable creatures. I'll try and find one of a frog or so. Thanks, Jax, telling me you're here. No, not bugs, Carrie. This is not a bug. This is a fly. Good, you can hear me fine. This is quite an amazing fly. I found this, when was it? Yesterday morning? Yep, yesterday morning when we were closing off drive. When I had those thorns in my face and hemiptera. When I was talking, when we had those buffalo in the road and we had that lovely transition of the acacia thorns in the foreground and those buffalo, and I was ending off the drive, and there was this most beautiful, it's called a robber fly, and quietly appropriately named a robber fly, because they sit on a perch and they catch insects in full flight. And he sat for me for some time. I got a couple of very nice photographs of him. Now it's going to take me a while, because normally I will spend an entire afternoon loading photographs onto Wirecast for you, and this evening, as much as I would love to just flow from one to the other, unfortunately it's going to take me a little bit of time to get there we go, to get these pictures. Sorry, I need to do another, I'm doing it wrong because I'm talking, so I need to add a shot, and I'm going to find another photo for you. Got a nice story to tell you. We're going to maybe go on to the subject of spiders in a little while, because I was telling you a story about spiders, and I'd like to show you some of the pictures from that. But this is the robber fly that I found on the end of drive, and it's taken me a few minutes just to get the next shot lined up. I haven't worked these photos. I haven't done anything to them. These are how they come straight off of my camera, so the lighting and that is going to be a little bit awkward maybe for these purposes. There's a full shot of this robber fly. I wonder if I could just keep doing it with the same shot. I think maybe I can, but I've got to go through all sorts of loops, jump through hoops and loops to get these pictures on the screen. Now, the last time I had an remarkable creatures show, I showed you a robber fly that it's not working the way I want it to work. Showed you a robber fly that just emerged from the ground as an adult, completely different species. But this is a very large one. They can inflict a bit of a bite if one is not careful, but they are wonderful insects to have around, because they do catch things like other flies and mosquitoes and, well, anything. I've seen robber flies catching dragonflies and moths. Anything that moves. They've got incredible eyesight, and they're able to pick up any insect moving within a short distance. Now, this insect is a very special insect, and I've only ever seen, in fact, this is the first time I've ever seen this insect here in South Africa. I'd only ever seen a few specimens up in Selous in Tanzania. Believe it or not, this is a beetle. I'm going back to just lifting up chat again, because somebody was mentioning things in chat. Who was it that seemed to know a little bit about insects? Ronnie. Robber fly, yes. Hello, Colin, Helen, Lynn, Lisa, Pat, Subda, and Steve, all there in in Ning Chat. We're having problems opening Ning Chat at the moment, I believe. And right. Yeah, those little tufts of hair that were on the robber fly were quite impressive. Okay, now what I'm going to try and do with this insect is I'm going to try and expand, zoom it in like I did last time with some of them. Yes, I guess it does kind of look like an earwig, although, as I say, it's a beetle. And the one thing that makes beetles stand out from any other insect is the fact that they have what we call elytra, hard upper wings that they don't use for flight. They are used to protect their flight wings. Let's just do that. There we go. Now this is a zoomed in photo. I've learned how to do that on this program, fortunately. I'm going to show you from the back now. Let's start from the back. There's the abdomen. And slowly we're going to move up this insect. And there, that's now shows you how long this abdomen, a very long abdomen and very, very long flight wings. Of course, this insect needs very large wings to keep it in the air. This is actually called, by the way, it's called a ship borer. Ship as in ocean-going vessel. Borer as in bores into the wood of ships' hulls as a larva, is known as the ship borer beetle. And it is very closely related to, it's the same family of beetles as the rove beetle. And if any of you know the rove beetle, it is a beetle that has an acidic acid. Well, I guess all acids are acidic, aren't they? But it has this kind of acid that it exudes that causes blistering and extreme pain. And if any of you have been to Kenya, you will know that in Kenya there's a thing that they call Nairobi eye. And that is from the very tiny rove beetles. They're only a few millimeters long, and they look like little flies because unusually these beetles, their elytra, the hard outer wings, and we're moving slowly up this beetle. Here we go. I need to move it because I don't have a pointer. I wish I could maybe have a pointer to be able to point things out. So what I'm going to do is move it so that we only see the abdomen. There we go. From the abdomen forward. So those little round things in the extreme left of your screen. Now you can see how long those wings are. Those little round things, I wish I could point them out to you, but I can't. Don't know how to do that. I need to be able to maybe put rings or something. I need to be able to mark them in some way, but I can't. Pick key color with mouse. No, I don't know how to do that. I'll try and learn how to do that and maybe draw circles like Tara does with the tracks. I know she does those on her photographs before she puts them on, but somehow I'll try and do that. So as I was saying, the elytra of this insect, well, the elytra is what makes the beetle a beetle. They are the hard outer wing coverings that protect the inner wings, and in the rove beetles you'll get the same proportion between the elytra and the wings. And what is amazing is that those wings fold up underneath those elytra. It's quite incredible. When we're looking at this insect is probably about 2.5 inches long. It's a very long insect. So those elytra, those wings are probably a good 1.5 inches long themselves, and they're going to fold up into those tiny little elytra, which are only a few millimeters long. That's what makes this such an incredible insect. I'm now going to just move the insect back a little bit in the picture so that you can then see the head and the eyes, very strange eyes, very small feelers. But that is what we call the ship borer beetle. Next on my list of interesting creatures is going to be, I don't know what's coming next. I've got to see what I put on the, I've put in the folder. We're going to move over to spiders. And I've got to make this smaller because it's too big. It's also not the right way around. I don't know how to rotate it. Um, oh, look at that effect. Look what I just found. Made a funny effect. I don't know how to rotate it. I suppose I could try zoom in a little bit. This is not coming out as much as I like, because the spiders actually should be hanging upside down. All spiders that spin webs, that live in webs, actually hang upside down. Horizontal flip. I don't want a horizontal flip. I want a vertical flip, but it's not letting me do that. This is called a kite spider, and somebody sent me a picture of a spider in their backyard that was very similar to this kite spider. It should be hanging up. The picture should be rotated 90 degrees. I didn't get a chance to do that, unfortunately. And for some reason the coloring isn't coming out too well. A little bit pixelated. But that is a kite spider. Quite amazing little spiders they are. Next on the list, let's find another one. Now on Drive I was talking to, if any of you were on Drive I was talking to you about my golden orb spider and the jumping spider, a dandy. It's called a dandy, and I think you're going to see why it's called a dandy. I was talking about the dandy that came and ate my golden orb spider that I've been watching grow. The last time doing this show with you, I showed you a picture of my little golden orb when it was a baby, and sorry, I'm talking and I'm trying to position the photograph, but there, that should do it. Because of the moustache, he has a mustache. He's one of the most amazing of all the jumping spiders. He's an incredible expressive face. The pedipalps and his chelicera, he's got like this very furry moustache and a very furry pedipalps on the front of his face. Got two little devil horns above his eyes, which give him even more of a bit of an evil look. And this was on one of the leaves of my baobab. I don't know why. I'm trying to find out why. I'm going to close and try and open up a new one, because it's giving me really weird colors. These are not the colors of my camera, but we'll see, because I've got a few photographs of this dandy as he was on my baobab, my little bonsai baobab. Oh, here we go. Much better colors now. I don't know, I was doing something wrong and the colors were all washed out, but now finally I've managed to bring you much better colors. Here he is. Now I'm going to try and expand that photograph so we can see his pedipalps and his moustache and those beautiful eyes. Hope I'm not scaring anybody. These are really, really beautiful spiders, and there's nothing that they can't do anything to you. They're harmless. They've got incredible eyesight. It's about as much as I can expand the photo for now. And he waggles those pedipalps and he waves them around, and he is the most expressive spider I've ever seen in my life. Now, he was approaching my golden orb spider on her web, and I got a little bit upset with him, so I put him back on a leaf. Let's just go through the sequence. I did try and film it, but I was hand holding on macro zoom, and of course just my heartbeat makes the camera jump up and down, so it's not going to really come out on video as much as I would have liked it to. But this particular photograph was when he finally made it onto the silk, the one that's coming up now. Just trying to, don't know, sometimes this mouse doesn't. Okay. Still learning things here. So from that leaf, he then moved over onto the silk of my golden orb's web. Let's see if I can I see. See, I'm trying to move it sideways to get it to blow up, and I need to move it up or down. But there we go. Look at those eyes. If I had a clearer picture of him and I could zoom it in, you'd probably be able to see the reflection of me taking his photograph in his eyes. And yes, it is a male. I know it's a male because it's only the male that has these feathery pedipalps that become so expressive. Needless to say, once he got onto the silk of my golden orb web that I've been watching grow, I got a little upset with him, so I gently encouraged him to move back to the tree. And this is what he looked like when I had encouraged him. He doesn't take kindly to encouragement. And this next picture is the threat display of a dandy when a human is fiddling with him. He spreads those pedipalps wide to the side and he makes a huge moustache. And then look at that. Makes an angry face. So I left him and I came back to final control and I did some work. And lo and behold, an hour later I went by to see whether he had left my golden orb alone and to see whether he had even left the tree. And I found him on another leaf, looking like this when I approached. As soon as I approached, this is what he looked like. Hang on, let me get it. Try and get the borders right. There we go. So, when I approached him, he did this to me. Almost like a grrr. Growled at me. No, actually I'm wrong. This was the same time when he was threatening me. Because when I went back after about an hour, actually he wasn't on the leaf anymore. He was back on the web. And that's what I'm looking for now, is that photograph of him back on the web. Desktop, not downloads. Desktop mark. There we go. So after that, yeah, that's the picture I want. When I went back after an hour, and I'm repeating myself, please understand I'm multitasking here. I'm loading photographs, zooming them in, positioning them properly, and I'm trying to talk to you. But here we are. My golden orb, remember that tiny little red dot that I showed you? This is how big she was when he took her. And there he is on the silk. Now from that position, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought that he would, especially with his weight. Now you must remember that a golden orb male is only about as, well, it's not even nearly as big as he was. Has got to walk very, very softly on her silk because she will recognize a foreign object and she might eat him or kill him. But here's this huge spider. Actually, the spider's walking on her scaffolding, so at this stage she can't feel him walking on the scaffolding. But from this position on the silk, and it was so quick. It happened. I mean, when they say in the blink of an eye, and I moved the camera as fast as I could, but literally it was a blink of an eye that he had jumped, and you wouldn't think that it would be possible. And this is going to be a blurred photo, but that's because of the action. You know, this is an action shot. This is the moment of kill where the spider actually jumps from a strand of silk to the center of her web and bites her in the back and kills her. Someone was asked, who was it, was asking about snakes eating snakes. Well, here I've got spiders eating spiders. That's why some of you might like a dandy, because it eats the golden orbs, and some of you don't like the golden orbs so much. Here's a slightly clearer shot once I manage to get my composure. And then, gosh, every time I load a picture, I've got to go back to see at least it says Windows. Probably in Mac is different, but I've got to keep going back to the original file and clicking through all the files and opening up the same old. Got to open 3 files before I can. Come on, are you closing down on me now? Not fair. Not playing ball. Aha. desktop. I've got to wait for it to open the photos now, because I don't know which. That was 155. Let's try. See if that one will work. No. Something's wrong. Look what's happened. Something's wrong. It's not loading properly. Anyways, I think you get the gist of it. Looks like I might have to restart everything here. Something flew into my nose. Let's just go back a few steps while I try and work something out. Back to before the kill. And I'll try and work out how to improve. I love this feature now. The new Wirecast. I'm able to zoom in like that. It's not letting me do any more, I'm afraid. I don't know why. I can't open the folder and keep it open, because when I load the photographs, it automatically closes it when I load the photographs. So I know it's just one of those things. I think maybe I've just been... Anyways. Thanks, Linda. I don't ever have a script, by the way, but normally I at least prep it. Normally I load the photographs onto Wirecast, so that when I'm chatting to you, I can just bring the photograph up, and then I guess I'm lucky. My brain can just go into talking mode, and I can talk about these things. Well, we'll just leave this on the screen for the time being. And I'm going to go and see some emails. Heiko wants bird sounds. Hello, Caddy. Heiko, another. I think we've mentioned that before. We need to do bird sounds on an FSC as well one of these days, definitely. Bogash wants to know if the webcams are on 24/7. Yes, they are. It's just that the waterhole cam, Bogash, is not a night cam, so the sounds are up, but it's dark. It's black because it doesn't pick up any of the light of moonlight or anything, or infrared. But all the other cams on Wild Earth are up 24 hours a day, as is the pre-recorded during the night. Full Angel, Jumbo Full, Mabarigani. Full wants to know if elephants from East Africa over a period of years could migrate down to South Africa. Actually, Full, funnily that you should ask that, because when I was in Salou many years ago, there was talk of actually creating a corridor from Mozambique into southern Tanzania. So very much so. That theoretically it is possible, but I think there's still human boundaries that prevent them from doing so. But yes, it is likely. It is possible. Hello, Carolyn from California. Are there tornadoes in South Africa? Occasionally small tornadoes have ripped through parts of South Africa, but nowhere near Tornado Alley, Oklahoma, that kind of part of the world. Ronnie, hi there, Ronnie. What will you do with the data you collect from the frogs? Will it be published? Ronnie, we're not going that scientific. If anything, if we're going to go out, and if we don't have rain, we're going to go out and do some frogging. We are going to just have a look at frogs. We're not going to be we're not going to be keeping them. We're not going to be recording any data as to sizes or anything. We aren't part of the scientific community. I mean, I'm sure that it would be a good idea to maybe do something and find out if there is any information that people might need. But it was almost on a short notice basis that we were going to do the frogging. Just by the way, I'm just going to put something even more pleasant up on the screen. This is from home in the Timbavati, looking down towards the mountains in the west and a beautiful sunset. I have shown you this picture before, but in a different format. But anyways, I'm sure if somebody wants data on frogs, they'll be able to find it for them. We do have a chap by the way, who's staying in Yuri's house, a friend of Yuri's who's a herpetologist, and I was hoping that he would join me for the frogging because he's very clued up on the whole thing. I've been discussing the frogging with him, and let me just move that to the side and make a better picture. There you go. One for the album. I'll ask him if there's any data he might need or that might be needed. Vicky in New Mexico. Hi, Vicky. Are we moving off of subject of insects and things? You know, I think I'm actually going to leave this on rather than a black screen for the night. I think I'll leave that lovely sunset shot. Vicky, I'm not exactly sure how to form these questions, so I'm going to read it quickly. Okay. Vicky is saying, I love the deep sound the male lion made contacting his brother a couple of days ago. Seeing that we was trying to stay in contact, was he making sure the brother and other females wouldn't wander off too far, or was there another purpose? Why does the couple not follow along with the pride? Just taking time out to mate every so often and then catching up? Question mark. Any idea how far off the other lions have moved? If very far, how will they all catch back up again? Enough questions from Vicky. Hope it all makes sense. Does, Vicky? Makes very good sense. And, well, the call that he makes when he's mating is mostly territorial. The other lions join in because they're all securing their territory. They're securing the bond strength amongst them and ensuring that other lion are able to hear them and other lion are going to keep away. His brother was joining in with that calling, so it was a communal call, and that will ring out through the bushveld, and it will hopefully warn other lion that they don't need to come this way because there's an existing coalition, there's an existing pride, and believe it or not, there's a very distinct difference between the calls of a male lion and the calls of a female lion, and so other lions are able to pick that up. In fact, lions are able to identify who's calling just by the sound of the voice, in much the same way as we can recognize each other's voice. As far as making sure whether the brother and the other females don't wander too far off, I don't think that they have really much to say about that. The rest of the pride are likely to wander off. They must have by now. I mean, they had that baby buffalo 3 days ago, and I'm sure by now they probably have gone off to make another kill somewhere. Why the couple doesn't follow along with the pride? Mostly because they're mating. They're sort of locked in this mating ritual that needs to go on for a few days. And as far as how far the other lion have moved off, we don't really know because they weren't picked up again. We don't really know where they are. They might not be very far. I was hoping that they might have been calling so that I could have heard where they are. And of course, with this rain now, we're not going to hear a thing. And then as far as if they move far, how they catch up again, they catch up by vocalizing. Lion's roar travels very, very far over the bushveld. Now in the summer months, maybe not as far as the cool, dry air of the winter, but the sound carries far enough within a male's territory or within the lion's territory that other lions, that they will hear each other, they will recognize their calls, and they will most definitely be able to catch up that way. Hello, Tyne from the Netherlands, also known as Swift. I'm not too sure what Tyne is asking. Oh, hearing the bubbling casino in the rain. Tyne's just saying that she does listen to the evening sounds mostly, and the frogs are part of it. And she's recorded some of the sounds and tried to put a name on it. Tyne, there is a CD that you can get that has all the frog calls, and that sometimes the only way to identify frogs is by listening to a CD, because there's so many calls out there. Sometimes you can be out there in a marshland or a wetland, and the human ear can only pick up maybe 4 or 5 frogs, but in actual fact there might be 20 or 30 different species of frogs calling, and it's impossible to hear them all. Anat, shalom. Anat, מה שלומך? Erev Tov. Anat, question I'm not going to answer right now. It's a question about culling animals and things. I'm not going to go into that right now. We're on a different subject. But thanks for the email anyway. I know it is a subject that some people are interested in hearing about, and it's something I need to find out a bit more info on. Well, it's getting kind of late. I need to go and get some dinner, and hopefully the rain will stop for tomorrow's drive, I'm hoping. It's coming down hard again. It's coming down in buckets. Okay, my mouth has been glued to this microphone, so if you're losing sound, then it's something else. Sound has been the same all along. I don't know, it might be the rain is a lot heavier and making a lot of noise. What are you talking about? I'm trying to scroll back, but chat moves too fast, so I can't really scroll back. What are you talking about? Not spiders. Oh, sun spiders. Solifuges. They are spiders. Well, they're arachnids, but they're not spiders. They don't have spinnerets and they don't have venom. And I'm going to see if I can find a photo of that for my next Remarkable Creatures show. Well, I'm afraid time has come, the walrus said. I'm a walrus tonight. Time has come for me to say good night, goodbye, God bless, sweet dreams. Have a wonderful week. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. And thank you for being here. I hope I've managed to entertain you instead of the frogs. An impromptu Remarkable Creatures show. Next time it'll flow a little bit smoother because I'll be able to load things earlier on. So, where am I? There. No one can hear me. No sound. Check, check, check. Does anyone hear me? Hello? Ground control to Major Tom. Maureen, I haven't stopped talking. So you're seeing my sunset, but nobody's hearing me. Well, internet problems, I guess. Carolyn can hear me. Well, I'm hoping you're going to get this last message, but I'm just going to say good night, everybody. It seems there are sound problems, so I'm afraid it's end of the day for us. Good night, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.